final, a 27-point victory here for the San Antonio Spurs, the largest margin of victory when facing elimination in franchise history. And for more, we welcome in CBS Sports NBA analyst John Henson and Spurs royalty, the coach Avery Johnson. Fellas, a fun watch if you're on the San Antonio side of things, certainly in this one. It had all the markings of the urgency of a team with their backs against the wall. Coach, what allowed San Antonio to dictate the terms from the opening tip tonight?
The Spurs played great defense without fouling tonight. When you look at, OKC, limited amount of free throws, the Spurs was terrific defensively. They played defense without fouling. They rebounded the basketball well. So when you're +9, +10 at the free throw line, at the rebounding the basketball, they defended well. And they slowed down not Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, but Alex Caruso. I told you in the pregame, Alex Caruso is the key for this team. Dylan Harper played extremely well. Sure, Victor was better. He played at a high level. But at the end of the day, Spurs bench outplayed OKC's bench.
Yeah, I think the key word is sense of urgency. Spurs came out with a sense of urgency. Wemby came out firing threes with confidence, 30 assists on 41 made field goals. It's hard to say that maybe OKC didn't come out with as much punch as you thought they would. Are the Spurs kind of wearing on them mentally? Hey, look, a couple long seasons, finals, now Game 7 coming up. If I'm OKC, it's time to regroup. But the Spurs just came out and looked like they wanted it more from top to bottom. OKC shoots 3. Their starters are 3 of 17 from the 3. You don't usually see this from an OKC team that's pretty good as an eliminate. They call SGA the closer. So tough break for OKC and the Spurs. This is what they've been doing all year. When they win big at home. They did the same thing tonight, wire to wire. OKC better buckle up because these young boys are not going anywhere.
Yeah, the closer was doing the same thing as you and I in closing time, and that was watching some hoop. SGA on ice there in the fourth quarter, John. I want to go back to something that Coach said because they did a great job in keeping everybody off the stripe, but specific to SGA and all of the storylines that have been around the whistles that he's gotten. Just 3 free throw attempts, averaging north of 10 attempts this postseason. John, did you see a difference in the way that they guarded SGA tonight?
Well, I'm sure Coach can also relate. When you guard somebody for 6 games, you start to learn their tendencies, and you just learn what they like to do. And I even saw SGA, not flopped. I hate the word flop, but not flopping as much, trying to play through contact a little more, which is what I think the Spurs want him to do, and maybe the league as well. So look, they're locked in on him, and Vassell plays really, really good defense on him time after time, game after game. They're essentially shutting his water off right now. OKC's going to have to figure out kind of what they did before, get him off the ball, get him moving. The ISO one-on-one does not work, and when they get into that little trap, hoping SGA can rescue them, they usually get themselves in trouble, as we saw tonight.
And remember, Dylan Harper is another big key. Game 1, extraordinary. I told you guys, off the bench, if he scores 16, 18 points, the Spurs are going to win this game tonight. So having Dylan Harper out there as another switchable defender, SGA, stay down on the pump fakes. Okay? At the end of the day, I'm pump faking right now on CBS Sports HQ. John Henson, do not go for the pump fake. Joe Musso, not go for the pump fake. Because if you do, even at my age, you're going to be in problems. It's going to be problematic. So I like the Spurs' discipline on defense. I thought they was extraordinary. They took what the defense gave them. Victor, I thought he would start inside a little bit more, but he made 2 threes to start the game, which gave him some confidence. And remember this, Victor's post-game interview. Remember, he didn't talk in the last game, post-game. At the post-game tonight, 2 quick questions, he ran off the floor. This young man is focused. So watch out, OKC in Game 7.
Yeah, 28 points in 28 minutes, and I would venture to guess fewer words spoken postgame in this one. Did answer the questions. I want to go back to Wemby here for a second here, Coach, because You called for him to pick his spots and jacking up those threes. When it's going, it's going. You wanted him active at the rim. 10 boards, 4 at the offensive end, created a few extra possessions. Still let that thing fly. Attempted 9 threes, cashed 4 of them in. How was he able to strike that balance tonight?
You know what? When he makes that first 3, it's game over. And again, at the end of the day, I wanted him to go inside out. He said, Coach Avery, I'm going to be the same player I've been my whole entire career. And that's what he was. He made his first 1 or 2 threes. He mixed it inside, offensive rebounds. He was physical tonight. He got a little bit gas. Give Coach Mitch Johnson credit. He got Luke Cornett in, give him a little bit of a break. Luke wasn't, he wasn't a superstar tonight, but just to spell Wemby for a little bit. So I like where they are. Remember, at the end of the day, if you could tell the Spurs, who won 62 games this year, and OKC who won 64, you are going to play a Game 7 in the Western Conference Finals with an average starting age of 25, 26 years old, whatever it is, they would take it. It's a 1-game series, guys.
Yeah, and going to the point with Wemby, look, I was a big that started shooting threes later in my career. When I see the first one go in, the next one's going up. I'm blind, unconscious. So, look, if you kind of see, that's what Wemby kind of does. He hits 3 out of 4. You better get up because he's going to try to air you out. And look, once they stopped falling, he used his IQ, started attacking more, as you saw, down the lane, trying to create. So, look, when Wemby does, he's going to, like Coach said, hey, it might be a long night for you because that gets him confident. His team gets confidence. And as you see, if you let the Spurs get rolling, there's not anybody in this league that can beat them when they're playing like they're playing tonight. And it starts by letting Wemby see the ball go in. OKC may have to adjust what they're doing potentially early on Wemby, get the ball out of his hands, because once Wemby starts rolling, everyone starts rolling. Wemby hits a couple threes, and then now you're up or you're down 6 or 7 points, 6 or 8 points, and Wemby's firing because he's 3 or 4. That's when things start to turn bad. It did tonight for OKC. Game 7, look, anything could happen. I'm nervous for OKC right now. I didn't like the body language. I didn't like how they looked in this game, even though they were down. The Spurs look confident, and they have nothing to lose. That's a scary proposition for an OKC team that almost looked a little mentally fatigued, maybe a little exhausted from these long seasons. They won the finals last year. You've got to fight through that if you want to be a champion.
So I want to ask my good friend John Henson, at the end of the day, who has the most pressure on them riding in this Game 7? Is it the Spurs or OKC?
It's OKC without any questions. I mean, Game 7 at home. I mean, we've seen it this year already. Road team playing well in the Game 7. I personally, when I played in the Game 7, I preferred to be on the road just because I was able to focus. You're locked in a hotel room. There's not family around. Because let me tell you something. Coach, you still got to take the kids to school on Thursday, even though it's a Game 7. So, it's things that happen and distractions that sometimes are worse for the home team. Spurs are going to fly in, lock themselves in the room, be ready, recovered, and rested with nothing to lose. I'm nervous for OKC.
Yeah, the expectation.
But Joe, it's not even the kids. It's the friends that want more tickets. We got people that haven't been to the playoffs, and all of a sudden they've come out of a cocoon and they want tickets to the game. So there's a lot of distractions. I think, again, I picked the Spurs tonight to win big, which I shared with you guys earlier, and I picked them to win in 7. The OKC has more pressure on them than anybody. And the Knicks are sitting at home watching this thing. Hey, the Spurs couldn't ask. If you asked the Spurs before the season if they would be willing to play a Game 7 against OKC to advance to the championship and a repeat of my game-winning shot in 1999 against the Knicks, they would take it.
And the Knicks are rooting for triple overtime, that I'm sure. Some physicality in those 48-plus we will see in Game 7. I sense, gentlemen, that you want to go there, so I want to look at this from your 2 unique perspectives. John, from the player perspective, that 20-0 run in the third quarter, OKC calls off the dogs. They don't normally let these things linger, but does it require more to flush it when a loss forces a Game 7. You spoke to the body language. What did you see there, and what's it going to take for this OKC crew to flush it?
Well, now, I don't want to get too much on the Spurs bandwagon because OKC's been here before, right? They played in Game 7s for all the marbles. So, right, you've got to flush that, get on the plane, get back home, regroup, recover, watch some film, right? And you've got to try to make some corrections, right? I think OKC has the advantage now because, hey, look, they can correct some things, maybe change some schemes. And you've seen in a lot of Game 7s, guys that may play, may not play. There may be a kind of X factor guy that comes in that maybe the other team's not prepared for. OKC has more knives in the drawer, so it's going to be up to Coach Daigneault to figure out